along, boy, I'm telling you, the Rashan Gary victory tour just continues here. Maybe I didn't get your take on this yet, but Rashan Gary obviously made the top 100, voted on by the NFL players. He landed at number 80 on the list. You guys know, anybody who watches this show, if you're new here, we've been talking about Rashan Gary having a great year all season long, while there were other people constantly dogging him. I'll just say it, man. I said in this tweet right here, someone check on ESPN Milwaukee. They are not well. They were back at it again yesterday. So think about this. I'm going to rant here for a second.
Please.
Shout out ESPN Milwaukee. How in the hell do you look up at the end of the year and Gary makes Pro Bowl and you go, well, that ain't nothing. That's just fan vote. That don't really count. Okay, I'll give you that one. Cool. He leads the team in sacks. The rebuttal is, well, the Packers are horrible at rushing the passer. We were 9th in sacks. We were top 10 in sacks. Okay, so you can push that excuse on out the window, right? Then you go, well, what about his run defense? He had the most run stops on our roster last year on the defensive line position, right? And we finished with the second best run defense. Well, he's not getting paid to stop the run. Okay, so we got to throw that stat out the window now, right? By the way, they said that he led all edge defenders in run stops last year. That includes your precious Max Crosby. That includes your precious T.J. Watt that everybody wanted to trade for, your Trey Hendricks, all these guys, right? So at some point, you've got to acknowledge, you know what? Maybe we were wrong. Now, another stat that popped up yesterday or the day before was I can't remember I think he led all edge defenders in third down pressure rate. It was like 24% or something crazy. And then they mentioned in the stat, though, that on early downs, he only had a 7% pressure rate. They immediately flipped it to, well, how bad was his first down? Of course he's going to get a high pressure rate on third downs. What are you talking about? Your pressure rate should be more difficult on third downs because they're setting up the pass block. Now, if you would stop and lower the ego for 2.5 freaking seconds and go, why was his pressure rate lower on early downs? Could it be that we put an emphasis on stopping the run? And, oh, by the way, he was the best at freaking doing that last year for the Packers. And on top of that, we took our run defense from really bottom third probably of the league and literally go to number 2 in yards per carry allowed. But right. It's people's ego, and I'm not going to say the one in particular fella, but he gets on my last nerve because you could tell this dude doesn't know anything about football, and he speaks like he's the authoritarian figure on football, and it cracks me up every time. I would love to get in the film room and just go, let's watch some tape together. Let's show me what you're seeing here. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to take notes. Break this play down. I guarantee you he would shake in his freaking boots or his Birkenstocks, whatever he's wearing. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I don't know, man. That drove me crazy. And then this stat came down the line. This is why I said this. Pass rushers with a higher pressure rate than Rashan Gary since entered the league. So since Gary's been in the league, there's only 4 pass rushers that has a higher pressure rate than Gary. They are Micah Parsons, Nick Bosa, Trey Hendrickson, and Myles Garrett. That's the end of the list. Minimum 1,000 snaps as a pass rusher since 2019. By the way, you didn't see Max Crosby on there. You didn't see T.J. Watt, did you? He's literally got the 5th highest pressure rate since coming into the league.
And having to sit behind Preston and Zadarius for a while too, where these guys basically just, were showstoppers on their team. They're trying to say that Rashan isn't that on ours. I mean, I just think that's a lie. Seriously. I mean, how can you not? The guy carries himself right. He wants to help his teammates. He doesn't care if he doesn't get the sack. He just wants to be out there, performing, doing what he can for Green Bay, doing what he can for his teammates.
And battled back from that ACL, came back way earlier than anybody expected him to. It's just he's been a team player since day one. He sat in the rotation, late in the rotation, and allowed Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith to do their thing, and he learned from those. It's just he's done everything right since he got into the league. Now, again, last year, he did not have a great year last year. I'm not sitting here going, this guy was the best pass rusher in the game. But these idiots that sit back and just continue to talk as if he was a bad pass rusher and a bad football player, it drives me insane, man, because They'll literally just take one stat, or my favorite part is how this guy at ESPN Milwaukee will constantly say, we watched the tape and he got single blocked by a tight end. Okay, that's one play. And I know what play they're talking about. And you could tell Gary is kind of playing a spy. Engage, tie up the tight end, focus on the backfield, see if the quarterback's going to scramble, if they keep there's no context. It's just literally he's bad at football because we said so, and it drives me insane. So anyway, I thought that list. So now we've got this over longevity, right? And then of course, for me, the icing on the cake, Emilio, was he ranked 80th on the top 100. Now, when you've got a skinny little pencil neck prick on the sports talk radio show that act like they understand how good a player is more than NFL players who voted on the list, your ego is so out of whack, bro. If I could buy you for what you're worth and sell you for what you thought you were worth, I'd be a damn millionaire. I'm just telling you right now. It drives me insane, dude. So I didn't know. I wanted to get your take on him finishing top 80 on the list, or at number 80 on the top 100. What did you think, man?
Yeah, I think they kind of did him dirty, just like Josh Jacobs. But I honestly don't even know if I can follow up that rank, Clay. You were on fire there. I mean, I wasn't even going to stop you. I just needed to add a couple more sound bites in there, I think. But that's the truth, man. I mean, you talk all that smack. All right, fine, but you gotta be able to sack up if you did and say, hey, all right, I was wrong. The dude came back from an ACL. Has this guy ever had an ACL surgery? No. Have you ever had all that blood rush to your foot after that happens? No. I mean, it's brutal. Rashan came back in the crunch time with strength, power, physicality, and then Clay, he probably gets cooked in college football. I mean, this guy probably couldn't stop a leaking faucet if he tried.
Yeah, and again, I was trying not to go at people, but I was expecting they're going to see all this info is just, I mean, it's trickling out by the day. Another stat that proves Gary was a great player, right? And then I was expecting them to kind of walk it back, or what most of the time what people like that do is they just go quiet. They just change the subject, right? Because it's like, oh, crap, I was off base there. No, they doubled down and then started trying to navigate around specific stats that, well, what about him on early down? How many whatabouts are you going to break out on this dude? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Anyway, it is what it is. So I've said my piece. I thought that was cool, though, because I'm going to be honest with you. This surprised me, right? This surprised me that, holy cow, he's at the fifth highest pressure rate since he came in the league. That's damn near dominant over the course of his career when you look at pressure rates. So anyway, so there's a little Gary talk for you. Hopefully we'll be done with the Gary talk until we get in season. He starts kicking people in the head again, not literally, but, just going after the quarterback.
But they're not mad. They won't be mad if he tears it up this year at a good price, coming back, he's healthy, all that stuff. I mean, they're not going to be mad if all this happens. They're just not going to mention everything that they said prior. You know what I mean? They're just, it's in the past. No, I'm sorry. It's still out there, bub.
Yeah. So